Hi, and welcome to another Adobe Training Tip of the Month from your friends at headTrix Training. Today I'm in Photoshop CC 2015. Ooh, that name is a doozy. And I want to show you how to optimize your workspaces. So over here to the right, as many of you might know, there's different ways to change your workspace. Your workspace is basically the layout of all the panels and or windows that you'd open up. Right? I can just push this in here and now that's part of my workspace. But it's not part of the original Essentials workspace. So these are just Adobe workspaces that they've preset. There's one for photography, and you'll see it opens up the histogram for you. I'm not sure why it puts it exactly in the middle, but we can reset any preset to see exactly how it was when they downloaded the application, and you'll see the histogram is actually over here. But if I move things around in any single one of these preset workspaces, you'll see I'm in the painting workspace now. It shows the swatches, the brushes. It opens up windows that it thinks would be more important for you to use if you're doing something with painting. So you'll see here I could also take panels and I can drag them out. I can mix different panels together by dragging them, and you'll see when I see this little blue highlight that shows it's going to be set exactly inside of that panel, so they'll be tabbed together. Or I can drag it down to the bottom so it's underneath that panel. That blue highlight shows up. As soon as I see that, I can let go and it snaps, and now these guys are together. Right? I can do a lot of different things. I can tuck them into here as icons, or I can pull them out of there and I can tuck them into the right-hand side of the dock so it's an add-on. Obviously, you'll see that I lose my real estate within my photos and how much room I have within my computer. So that's not the best. I might want to click this little double arrow here to collapse the icons, and then I can have icons as I need them open up, but keeping them nice and tidy and collapsed. So I'm going to go ahead, and you'll see that once I do this, if I move anything around, and if I move this here and I leave it, if I go to Essentials, and then I come back to Painting, you'll see that it leaves the room, or the workspace, if you will, exactly the way that I left it. So now I can go down to here where it says Painting and drop down and select Reset Painting, and it resets it exactly how it was shipped with Photoshop when I first downloaded the new application. I'll reset, and you'll see it just puts your workspace back together. It's like a quick way to clean up your room. Underneath Window is another way to access this workspace. You'll see the exact same thing, Essentials, 3D, Motion. We're now on Painting, and again, I can reset that workspace. What I want to do is make a new workspace. You see how it says New Workspace? So I don't want to select that yet, but I want to create a new workspace and show you how to optimize Photoshop. So you know they say that in a browser, we like the navigation to be on the top like you see here on Yahoo, or on the left-hand side of the screen, because most users don't like to scroll all the way to the right-hand corner or the right-hand side of a web browser. Why? Well, because most of the bookmarks we select from here, and then we're, of course, at the top of the page. If I type in a URL, I select that right here, and then, of course, I'm also at the top of the page. So I don't want to have to drag my mouse all the way down to the right-hand side, and perhaps that seems silly, but it's going to take me a couple seconds every time I do that. So I don't think Photoshop should be any different. Here I am in Photoshop, and of course we know that layers are the most important thing of Photoshop. I can double-click a panel to collapse it like this, and that would make my layers more prominent. I have more room then to add more layers or to work with more layers, since that really is what Photoshop is kind of about, working with layers. But my file menus are up here on the top, and my tools are all the way to the left. And I'll be working, of course, into the center, and of course I'll have to dragging over to the right-hand side, which means if you have one of those 24-inch or larger Mac screens, you're dragging from the top left to the bottom right all day, nonstop, and as you know, nothing is really that fast in Photoshop, right? Creativity, it takes time. So what I suggest is going to Essentials, and making sure you reset Essentials so that we're all in the exact same workspace, looking the exact same way. And I'm going to drag on the very top, right? If I grab here, I grab the panel. But if I grab at the top, I grab the whole kit and caboodle, all the panels together. What if I was to take them and drag them all the way to the left side of my tool panel here? It snaps right in, and now I will never have to drag to the bottom or to the right of my screen. I can go to the menu bars above, and I can quickly access my tools, my layers, without having to go all the way back and forth using the entire Photoshop screen. So what I could also do is, before I save my workspace, is maybe perfect it a little bit more, or maybe add some more windows. So one thing I can do is double click the libraries. If I double click a panel, that collapses the panel. And now I have more room for my layers. I like that, because we know that whenever we're using Photoshop, we're always using multiple layers, so I might as well leave myself room to make more and to navigate. Maybe I'll go underneath the window menu, and I like to make sure that the info panel is open. What's nice is you'll see I can just close this box, and it just tucks it right here as my secondary panel, which means I can just click when I need it. I also like to have my layer comps open. So you'll see I have my layer comps, which also came with notes, which is nice to leave a little note here and there. And I have my history panel, and that's about it. I think I have everything I need. If you wanted, of course, you could, open up panels that you use most often, like maybe the timeline. If you use the timeline, I can open that up, and then I can double click it to tuck it in, so it's not really in my way, not taking up any real estate on the screen, but it's easy to access by double clicking when I need it. I'll double click it to go back. And now I'm ready to save this workspace. So we'll go down to where it says Essentials. I'll select New Workspace. I'll label it My New Workspace. And if I wanted to, if I created any keyboard shortcuts or menus, I could also save them within my workspace. And now I'll press Save. And there you have it. Now I have a new workspace. You'll see I can drop up from here. I can go to Essentials, or any of the pre-created Photoshop workspaces, and reset Essentials back to how it was. And now you'll see that here I have my new workspace. I click there, and now I'm ready to work with an optimal. Hope you enjoyed this tip of the month from headTrix Training.